or Aotearoa. And this is the first day of a future where trade agreements serve the interests of citizens and our natural environment. The New Zealand Nurses Organisation objects to this government's intention to sign the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement in Chile later today. We assert that despite some improvements, the CPTPP is not ready to be signed.
No way.
Now, Trade Minister David Parker, he acknowledges that the deal isn't perfect. Speaking on News Hub last week, he said he would give it a score of 7 out of 10 for New Zealand. Let's imagine for 1 minute that score is accurate. Just imagine. What does 7 out of 10 mean when it comes to your health? What if you turned up to the emergency department with a serious cut and you were told you could have stitches to 7/10 of your wound? What does it mean if you were in pain and you were given a treatment that left you 30% sore? Nurses work for the highest possible health status of all peoples in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it's because of this that we cannot support the CPTPP. And it's because, although there have been improvements, threats to population health and all that sustains it remain in the text. There are, for example, intellectual property provisions which have been suspended, but they're still there and they could still delay access to affordable new medicines. The same is true for the investor-state dispute settlement provisions. They remain in the text, and these privilege the interests of multinational corporations over our sovereign and indigenous interests. The Treaty of Waitangi exception, as it's called in the text, is not robust enough to ensure that indigenous rights are protected, and it's not consistent with the recommendations of the Waitangi Tribunal. This means that Māori-led efforts to address health disparities could be undermined. The labour chapter, it does not protect the decent jobs, livable incomes, and fair treatment at work which are needed to sustain healthy communities. The environment chapter, it doesn't even mention climate change, which the World Health Organization has called the greatest threat to global health in the 21st century. Now, defenders of this deal, they point elsewhere. They point to possible economic gains, although no one is saying today that these are going to be huge. But is that really the right way to look at it? What's a few extra dollars really worth if you don't have your health? Now, around the world today, the thinking is shifting. The thinking is shifting on these trade agreements away from a sole focus on narrowly conceived economic benefits. The New Zealand Nurses Organisation has promoted this shift ever since we first heard of the TPPA, the better part of a decade ago, through the High Court challenge which we took through our Kai Whakahaere and other co-leader, Kiri Nuku, in 2015, through the massive protest of 2016 and up until today. And I tell you now, we will continue working for a healthy future. Woo! In reality, there's no way of really knowing what the accurate score would be for this deal on a health scorecard. And this is because no health impact assessment has been conducted. Now, until an independent health impact assessment, which the Labour Party campaigned for in opposition, until this is done, then as nurses we say, please don't sign. Thank you.